All tutorial related PNGs and upcoming fan art projects will be available on my Patreon. Hello everyone and welcome back to another drawing tutorial video. And in today's video we will begin looking into drawing scenes for our anime characters. For this video we will capture a summer vibe as our example. This will allow you to look into the broader techniques you can employ to achieve any scene you want to draw. For this one I'll be using my most recent fan art of Amith from Wuthering Waves to teach you. She turned out a little so if you're seeing this, then that means YouTube didn't nuke my video. Without further ado, let's get started. To draw a good scene, we actually want to use a symphony of hues to help imply to the viewer the setting we want. There are some big obvious ones we can use for our summer scenes, such as the beach or at the pool, as swimming is often associated with cooling down from the summer heat. But you can go with more subtle methods to get the same impression outside of using such obvious scenes. I want to employ more subtle cues for this example, so I'm going to draw my character in her house. However, I still need the viewer to see that this is a really hot summer day, so I will need to get creative to imply the temperature of my picture, whether it's a broken AC unit, or a running fan, melting ice cream, or eating a popsicle. Each of these props will help people realize that this is a very hot scene. On top of that, I want to use colors that are much further along on the red color scale. People associate red and yellows with warmth because the sun makes things have that same hue. So on a bright sunny day, everything looks a little bit more red and yellow. Because of this, I can further enhance the summer vibes by keeping all of my colors a little more yellowed. I also want to make sure that my character will actually fit the scene. You want to avoid giving your character too warm of clothing, otherwise it won't fit into the scene properly and it will be confusing to the viewer. You don't have to draw her to be scantily clad or anything, just don't use super thick, hot clothes. But for this one, I'm going to go with a scantily clad outfit. On top of that, I want to add little cues on the character herself to further help imply how warm it is in this room. So I want to draw little sweat drops on my character as well. Let's quick jump over to another example so I can show you how to easily draw water droplets. This will work for water, sweat, or really any liquid. To start, you just want to make little teardrop shapes as well as little circles for just the base sort of droplets. Try to keep the shapes a little bit interesting. You don't want them all to be the exact same, so have little teardrops, longer ones, circles, some where they kind of bunch up. Should look something like this. Now to actually make them look like a droplet. So I'm going to use a soft pressure eraser, so the harder I push, the harder the eraser is, so that way I can get this kind of nice washed out look. And you just kind of want to go into the thickest parts of the droplets and just kind of erase out. Again, you kind of want to use interesting shapes and you want to keep it a little bit random. You don't want them all to be the exact same, really just leaving the outermost edges intact. And then to finish, you just want to use a little bit of a shine here, just so they can capture the light a little bit better. Finish, just lower the opacity on the droplets themselves. And there you go. So just lower the opacity just a little bit so they're not too jarring, and you should be able to achieve the same look. So using that method, go ahead and add a few on your character. Make sure you don't overdo it though, and also don't let them be quite so bright. You don't want it to be jarring. Obviously, little sweat drops are barely visible from the distance, so don't go too crazy with it. I'm going to also include a little bit more glisten for my character, as well as some bright reflective spots to help enhance that shiny look and imply that our character is sweaty. Also, ensure that our character is super blushed. A red face will help imply that she is overheated. Finally, we can also employ some add layers to make the bright glows through the window, as well as some low opacity bright circles to help imply that it's super bright and the sun is really leaking in through those windows. You definitely don't want to go too crazy with this step, as you can really wash the picture out. So just kind of, lower the opacity and use some soft erasers as needed, but you can kind of get a little neat lighting effect if you mess with it. If you get to the end of your piece and you still feel like it's lacking that knockout punch, then try to use a color correction layer above the entire project. With that, some very slight increases in the red-yellow balance of the project will help really solidify the bright summer day, turning everything nice and warm. As an example of that, here is a base background I drew. I'll use color correction layers to show you how different it feels with just using that layer. So first, I can make it more blue, which causes the scene to look a lot cooler. So this looks more like a breezy summer day. Whereas if I then use a red correction layer, it'll make the sun look like it's cooking everything you can see. And this helps it feel much warmer. So here's them side by side so you can just kind of see that contrast, and just using these hues will really help set the scene for your picture. Again, if you just feel like at the end of it, you don't quite have that, summer feel, or if you're drawing a cold picture, you don't quite have that, winter feel, whatever it may be. Don't be afraid to use a color correction layer to really help tie everything together. So obviously the logic for this lesson you can use in any of your scenes. If you want to draw a colder scene, well then keep it a little bit more blue in hue, make your character match, add a little hues to help, such as like hot chocolate, or hopefully you found this one helpful, and I will see you in the next one.